I really would have liked to see the Rel here more. You ban the Alistar, it sets up the Equalizer, it sets up the Yone ult so well. And with Poppy available, you needed to, I think, ban that if you really wanted to put Palu on this Rakan. Hype shot there, but I like the idea of trying to force out this steadfast presence, but now Skarner's coming down.
Yeah, Rogue Charge not quite going to land as far as the stun is concerned, but now we're looking for a crab as there's the flash in from Palu. Deadly Flourish comes down as well as Gumayusi, able to at least use the cleanse, but it doesn't do anything. That's going to be first blood going over to Palu, but I can theoretically find out.
I was just curious if there was any additional context there. But I also don't associate him with the pick as Hype gets his full shot here.
Yeah, it's going to be working out. But you can see Gumayusi also down relatively low.
He has to hit this.
All right, Palu going to be diving in. Keria turns up, and that is going to nullify the aggression.
They were playing around Owner's jungles. Here comes Keria.
Not going to quite find the target, and it's Gumayusi that's turned on here. Chains of Corruption are fantastic, though, as Hype just getting melted by this Varus. And Palu can't actually get in there to get the damage done. Faker turns up just to save his AD carry, and Closer not going to be able to do anything because there are 4 members of T1 in this bottom lane. The Impale and the Yone is delivered on a silver platter to this Varus.
It looked so good at the outset, but it does end up being T1 playing it better.
She's actually playing the on-hit variety of the Varus. It's not necessarily his bread and butter on this pick. But now he's in a great spot this game. Hanwha not so much, as now he throws out the ulti onto Keria. Chains of Corruption comes down. 3-man knock up there from Palu as the Equalizer is actually going to burn down Guma. He's not going to offer too much more, but Doran, he puts them in the circle, and now Morgan's just trying to barbecue T1. The curtains have been called. So much value here from the Jhin as Morgan continuing the Flame Spitter. And Keria, with that steadfast presence, the flash forward, and Closer just wishes he still had the ultimate, but he doesn't! And so T1 will limp away with these health bars so extremely low. He's got denied anything in that fight. I think as if that Yone manages to get a big ultimate, that is so good for Bro. Instead, it is T1 able to limp away, now with a bit of a gold advantage there as well, as they take down the dragon, and obviously it's an Infernal. I mean, we knew this.
Yeah.
We knew this. Has to be the Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Their bottom side need to rush over there, maintain that control. They still have so many control wards as they're looking for an angle.
I think Hype is probably dead, ladies and gentlemen. As the Impale comes through, he had nothing that he could do about that situation whatsoever.
Because they kill the AD carry, they say, this is mine for free.
Yep, and that's going to be feats of strength there as well. So feats of warfare picked up, and immediately afterwards they lock down the upgraded shoes. As you can see there, they had 5 ready. Faker doesn't exactly have much ready for this one, though, as the ulti from Closer is decent. They get the knock up on the Skarner, but they're too tanky. There's not enough damage here for Bro, and they're unable to get either of the kills. Side finds Owner, as that Harpoon managing to thread the needle there was quite nice from Morgan. As Owner comes in, picks up Palu, takes down the turret. And now it's Faker that could be in trouble. Closer now just flashing for it. Winter's Wrath comes down. I don't think the GOAT's going to be escaping from that one. And meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, Doran is melting. Morgan would have really loved to have his flash back available. The steadfast presence gives him the extra movement speed so he can make his way out. Morgan in an uncomfortable spot here as Faker's going to turn up, and with Owner there as well, Bash Bros back at it again, pushes him into the gravity field. That's gorgeous play here from the T1 jungler, and Morgan nowhere to go. Decent little knock up there from Palu, but I just don't think they've got the follow-up. As meanwhile, Keria has discovered Hanwha, and then he gets closed in on by the rest of T1. The level of coordination just so much higher here.
And Palu, but it just seems like T1 has invested so much more in control wards, and they always see more. They always have these angles. Faker can't make that play.
Hype he couldn't walk in case they were waiting, and then he would have just died. And so now should be an outer turret being picked up here by T1 in mid lane. Keria getting chased down by Closer, but I don't think he's too worried about it.
T1 this whole game around the objective they want, but now that they have full control, they've got wards on top, bottom, mid, you name it. Morgan can't be here.
Yeah, there's the flash heroic charge. That'll set up the kill onto Morgan. He does manage to get an equalizer down, but it's just onto the minion wave. You really didn't think that Bro were going to be fighting for that one, but T1, they're going to be fighting. Turret is going to fall down, though, and that means that Owner is not going to be tanking up any damage at all. And T1, they got exactly what they came here for and more.
When you start winning fights off of the enemy team trying to clear your vision, that's how you know you're really in control. As Faker, really not.
Charmed up here, fair bit of damage as Hanwha, he's coming in as well. But remember, it's just a withdrawal that they're playing for, and they're not even going to get that.
Not even a flash.
Yeah, Ona coming on over. And he's going to be able to make it out. Hanwha still wanting.
With 4,000 gold lead, the game was really close until it wasn't.
Yeah, and this is kind of been the woes of the bros. I think it's because the bro tax kind of stops. It has that initial influx right at the beginning of the game.
But it's just not quite working anywhere else, is it?
Nope. Not quite at all. As Skirmishes, most gold in the game. Closer is relatively close. We'll be able to get some money here from this turret going down as well.
Practically.
Yep, that's definitely the T1 way, as Glacial Prison is just thrown out for fun, but they avoid the ultimate from Carrier. Doran throws his down, though. Equalizer is decent, as Doran is just dancing around the front of the fight, but still it's going okay here for Bro. The curtains have been called, and Skirmishes is taking a lot of damage. Faker tanking up a lot of these bullets as well, as Morgan finally gets a kill in this fight. They will trade it for 2, though, as now Carrier going down low, and Closer is starting to pop off. The flash forward gets the knock-up, and Faker avoids the ulti, but Doran's completely out of mana. Still, it has to be a pop-back of this Yone, and T1 somehow managing to walk away, as Hype kind of wishing he didn't have to reload the entire time, and Doran just murders him.
Okay, Faker will finally go down there, I think to a red buff, but gap there, they just had to leave, and that's no kills really going over to T1, but it is going to guarantee their second Infernal Dragon and Infernal Soul point here, so in terms of what they got from it, it's definitely a success at the end of the day, even though it didn't look like it was one in the kill feed. It looked like Bro had the great escape. This choke point, Carrier is rotating over.
Yeah, there's a potential window, but I think this is going to be a 50-50, and honestly, Ona is pretty good. Never mind, this is going down so low, it is just stolen. Highway robbery here by the Bros. If you don't pay your taxes, they're just going to steal it.
There you go. They're going to get the empowered recalls here and get out for free.
Only the one that you want to get caught out because he has so much mobility is Hanwha. Finds the ulti onto Doran. There's the equalizer as well in the choke point. Still, Doran's able to do it, and in goes Ona once again. Somehow Polu finds everyone. Hanwha stays alive, but the Rakan instantly murdered.
Pressure this top inner.
Yeah, there's the ulti straight on to Doran. Now it goes Closer, though, as Hanwha looking to go aggressive as well. Ona moves in as the equalizer goes down and actually just destroys the Aurora. Once again, Ona is going to find Hanwha, though, as Closer finding a massive angle, gets on top of Skirmishes. He threw down the ulti, but it didn't land onto the Yone. Still, Guma will survive, and Morgan is barbecuing the entire team. There's the fourth shot from Hype as he takes down Carrier.
Especially when you've got Stasis to deal with, you've got Faker's TP coming in. They played it so well, and they're going to get more than that. They're going to get this inhibitor. 30 seconds on Faker, and Bro looking for an angle to end here.
Oh no, Ona is just melting. Polu goes in, gets the knock-up still. Hype just doesn't quite have it, and Ona stays alive, able to actually get the kill onto Closer because he tanked the turret for about 6 million years.
TP comes through from Doran. Morgan may die here. He doesn't get the turret either.
Yeah, Morgan is going to come in. There's the flash out from Morgan, but Doran still going to be able to find him. Slows him down momentarily here, but the harpoons land pretty well. Still Carrier walks so extraordinarily fast. Finally, that scrap shield does come in, and Doran just blows him up. The equalizer is going to be able to get some popcorn chicken, so I guess there's that.
For this Dragon, the important thing is that Faker doesn't have teleport, and he's the one dealing with that top wave right now, so Kuma has to go back. He has to go back to full health, and someone is still going to have to deal with that top wave. Now, this is still just the second Dragon here for Bro, so it's not a massive win, but it is a denial of soul here for T1, and it was such a decisive call from Bro.
You can feel it. Wants to equalize T1 as they're making their way in. Keeper's verdict is going to get them off the Baron, and now T1, they're going to say thanks for the leash. Equalizer finally going to go down as there's a Chains of Corruption. Everything coming out here. Hanwha lands a decent ulti, but Carrier's already dead. Still, it's T1 that take down the Baron. Can they keep themselves alive, though? That's the big question. Hype is just trying to walk it off as the bullets stream in. They know the health bar is so incredibly low here as the flash out. Hype stays alive, and he may have just baited T1 into losing everything. Finally, Faker will find it, but is it actually going to be enough? Because I think Ona is just dead, and Closer, like you say, will re-kill this inhibitor and look to just take T1 out.
Oh man, bro, outplaying T1 on a Baron, and that is going to be them taking the upset win here in game 1.
The Baron for Nexus trade, ladies and gentlemen. A tale as old as time. Is KIA going to try his very best to deny the end of the game, and he has baited Bro for a few moments still. That's going to be enough damage. Morgan and Closer get it done, and the Bros strike first.
I do think the draft here for T1 is very short range. It is very difficult to win from behind. It's very difficult to set up on objectives from behind.
Many times. And Cocoon, that's what you were talking about. Find hype with it. Not a lot of follow-up there, as we could see.
Fortunately not at level 1.
Yeah. That's all right, Polu just going to crash in. Level 2 gained by both teams, but Gumayusi going to have to cleanse off the Ignite, the flash forward, and they are gunning for him. There it goes. KIA likely to be able to take down Hype here. Let's see whether they can actually get it done, and he does. Is a Shattering Strike going to be available? The answer is no. So a 1-for-1, both AD carries dead.
Walked away and used your range, but they get the clash out of KIA just the same. As Dorian gets a solo.
Yeah, Dorian's just going to solo kill the Ambessa.
So we'll watch how this did transpire as Morgan goes into the queue.
Misses a bunch of buttons, and then Dorian 1-2 stacks. Boom.
Yeah, that was the kind of redemption level you're looking for from Doran on this Gwen pick.
Circling. But so is KIA. This control ward going to be very important as he's able to at least front flip away.
Still has his unstoppable, or untargetable rather, if he wants to all in for it. For the 50-50, I don't advise it though.
Yeah, you can see Doran actually going to try and snip him. And we'll take a fair bit of damage here as Morgan on vision right now. We'll be able to clear that one out, but still the rest of T1 able to move themselves back. And okay, never mind. Goes inside the mist here as now some needlework comes out. Morgan still trying to dance around this one. Does avoid a fair bit. And now the public execution going to come in. Doran could be in trouble. The crash down is beautiful, but still, Owner is going to turn up in the nick of time. And Polo is also going to bite the dust. Let's just stop trying to fight in this lane, guys.
Okay. Owner and crew are grouped up on these grubs. And with the Dragon already secured here for T1, you know, Bro don't get a cross-map opportunity. And I think they learned last time from trying to punish
champions this year. But
you
still, he might just get Caster Cursed out of this game. That is on us. That's our bad, ladies and gentlemen. We will take full responsibility. And I'm so sorry on behalf of all of the Bro fandom. Again, continuing to go down lower and lower. Hanwha wanting to get in there, try and challenge his Hype now, getting himself set up as now Closers come on over. They're not going to find the Dragon. Owner as well. Going to get caught up in that Magna Storm, but Polo is now by himself. Faker looking to come over and try to assist as Closer is in trouble. Chain's going to connect, and it's a double just out of nowhere here for the Pantheon. Hype having to flash, and T1 just winning everywhere. Bypassed the two carries that were sort of just chilling. So that could have been an option instead.
I mean,
Still, hindsight is 2020.
Sure, T1 now have like all of the objectives.
Yes.
6 Grubs, 2 Dragons for Mountain Soul, which Gwen and Pantheon are going to love. Even Silas is going to be pretty happy about that.
But on top of that, they also have 8 kills. Like, it is a massive lead.
Morgan a Closer.
Yes.
Or won the 1v1 game. But that's the only win they had, and then Faker picked up a second kill in that last fight. Now he's ahead as Hanwha's trying to force.
Yeah, we're going to throw some daggers towards KIA, who goes into Spider Form and then tries to get out, but that's going to deliver the kill over to Morgan. Closer looking for a charm.
Tries to. I think he will regret it.
Yeah, well, he's going to try and come on over, of course. Gwen is immune sometimes, and Owner is just able to turn up at a moment's notice, still taking a lot of damage as Morgan trying to utilize that mobility to get himself out of there. The rest of T1 have moved over. The public execution going to be used as the 1v1 will be lost by Morgan because Owner is extraordinarily strong here. And I like that T1 just left Owner for the 1v1. They were like, you got this, bro. And he's like, yes, I absolutely do.
Well, it looked like it was going so well for Bro. But Owner, once again, just has that ultimate, can join. Faker still had his TP. So even though they committed Closer there with the prio, you know, it meant that Faker could just come in whenever he wants. And so,
again, if this game continues the way that it's going.
The 1-3 Ambessa is still not a Jace. Still a concern.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the thing that keeps coming back to bite us. Now 1 versus 2, and Doran is pushing both of them away.
Getting a flash.
My God. Okay, fully stacks up that Q once again as the rest of the bros are coming on over. Keria not able to walk through the enemy jungle with it. At least this time Morgan doesn't die, but it is still going about the same direction as public execution going to be avoided there as now Doran gets into the mist, but so does Hanwha, and the rest of T1 are going to show up. Here's the Grand Starfall as well as Ona is wanting to pick his poison. Choose who is going to be dying first. It will be the Neferi, his opposite number as the chains connect, and Faker is just on cleanup duty. Down goes the turret in the mid lane. There's at least something there for hype, but Polo is likely to die. Chainlash not going to come out again, but the charm is going to miss. And Closer, unfortunately, unable to find anything as the teleport in from Doran. Keria with the flash execute as Closer looks to try and answer that one. And even if Keria goes down, it is still fantastic here for T1. There's the Orb of Deception. That'll finish off the Spider. Is now Hype just trying to escape from the...
Yeah. Or reach further.
Oh dear.
Fly further.
Well, Hanwha is going to go untargetable for a few moments. Morgan's rotating over, though, and Ona may have overstepped here just a little bit. Magnustorm going to be invested. Shattering Strike comes down. Morgan gets in there now as Hanwha still wanting to try and offer some of his damage. As Ona does have Flash, does use it to get himself out, and that is going to separate Hanwha from the rest of the players. Ona is just running them around the rift right now. The rest of T1 making their way in. The crashdown comes through, and Ona's going to go back in for the stun. Oh, they are so strong. The Pantheon will eventually go down, but now Faker turns up, and he has a public execution that he's picked up. Doesn't even need to use it. Man, Ona is so good at this game.
He's really good, and he's really ahead. He's really high enough to kill this champion fast enough. And then Owner is just like, I'm over the wall, and now Hanwha is separated. He has to use his defensive option, go over the wall again.
Mountain Soul as well, Wolf.
Yeah.
This composition lacks a true tank, but they'll probably have one as Keria is just going to deny any option of escape, and down goes Hanwha as well. He's pretty targetable there, as we could see.
With a Gwen with 6 scrubs, I think, bro, we're starting to think about their Game 3 draft.
Whoa, Faker almost finds the public execution onto Hype there, as this inner turret is not long for the world. T1 looking a little bit angry.
I mean, we might
here
be
in this game too.
Inhibitors here with the Gwen with 6 scrubs. You walk at the enemy, you charge at the enemy in this case, and this might be like the stacked waves that could start to threaten Nexus turrets. I mean, this is really huge here with all the Voidlings taking these out so fast. T1 may consider an end attempt. I mean, who's going to stop him? Who's going to stop him?
So many Void Mites. That is absolutely absurd. So many doggos coming out of the fountain. But
we're down 0-1 in this series. Yes, we're up a bajillion gold, but let's make sure that we do our due diligence here and win the game. Otacon
on the last remaining lane that exists in defense here for the bros.
When they have super minions in the base, they can start to actually push to end if, you know, bro defend poorly.
Yep. And Doran is going to go a little bit far forward and will probably die. There he goes. That's a kill going over to Morgan. Still, the answer was almost there. Faker with the public execution.
But I think the thought process there is that if they spend everything on me, maybe we can follow up. Speaking of following up.
Yeah, public execution going to be used here onto Hanwha, who, goes untargetable, but unfortunately will still just die in the air.
A little bit of a Chihuahua situation here in this one.
Yeah. That's right. Keria is going to answer that with a whole bunch of damage onto Hype, and Ona says, you are just dead, buddy. Is he going to land the spear? The answer's no. Was expecting the juke, and it did not come through. Still, maybe T1 will then instead decide to win the game. True Shot Barrage going to come on down as now Polo setting up the defense.
TP for Doran.
Yeah, Closer actually spirit rushing forward, but that is into the blender. Keria goes golden. Somehow he's got an arm guard. It's kind of ridiculous. As Polo's flashing away, Keria just going to follow him. Owner able to push them all the way towards the fountain. Public execution used here from Morgan. He's trying to just get them away from his base. As finally the Pantheon goes down, but so does the Ambessa. And T1 now find themselves in a 3 versus 3. Hijack used here onto the Spirit Rush. And Hanwha, what goes up must come down. And now T1 going to finish off game 2. And it is going to go the distance here, bro versus T1. But game 2 was, I think, a very different story.
Yeah, the dashes are really good at getting away from some of the other problem CCs here, but the Talia is going to be an issue. And also, when you dash away from Wukong's ultimate, he kind of just follows you and doesn't care and gets on top of you. And
yeah, this guy's pretty good at the Diego.
He's pretty good at a lot.
Whoa, there's the flash in. We saw Chovy do this yesterday. It's a decent seismic shove, but the flash is already down on Closer. And Faker looking to try and get out of there, but Ona's just going to grab the kill. That is a lot of damage from the turret, but Humbug, I don't think he's quite going to be able to lock down this Viega. Still on this. They have full information. There is a control ward in the back of this pit. Now Humbug looking to make his way in. No flash, remember, as the Weaver's Wall comes down, as that is just a steal, and Ona is just going to get wiped out. I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, a little greedy
as
there.
Now Doran's in trouble as well, the Maiden.
Take these grubs before he hits 6. Yeah, so really nice deny there by T1. That was pretty pivotal to actually secure that Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, really nicely done.
From Guma, which means it's a free lane for Hype in the bottom side of the map. Keria?
Going to connect here as Keria is going to find the flash, pushing closer over. He's just going to flash his way out there. It's a great Cyclone here from Humbug, but no Heartbreaker available because Ona is just dead, and now it's Keria's turn to fall down. The seismic shove is flash. Gumayusi takes down the Talir, and now he's on the offensive. Oh, the taunt not quite able to work there as Hype finds the Make It Rain, and Faker is now in the wrong spot. Even the Morning Mist to grab a bit of an assist for Morgan. Ah, that was an unintentional rhyme, but we love to see it. The Bros now just going to augment their Ocean Dragon with this Hex Tech.
And the misfortune is, with that extra kill, not anywhere near as far behind as she was before.
It's still about 20 CS, but you're right, as soon as that Cull Cash is in, it's going to mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and...
3-3 in these grubs.
Yeah, this is...
And Wolf, that's feats of strength for Bro for the first time.
Yep, they got it. Damage that you're going to have with this pick, and the oomph that you don't have with a pick like Azero. The Aphelios is over here. Morgan.
The Ghoulie Wall is just going to block out Doran completely, and now Morgan just trying to turn the fight onto Ona. And the hook going to come down in the mid lane as well. We are fighting everywhere. The Weaver's Wall brings closer in as the culling going to be interrupted. Does nothing. Seismic shove pushes Guma back, but he's offering so much damage. Another double tap, and it was almost an anchor to the noggin, but instead the bullet takes him down.
Dplus in the past. That's why they have the nickname Kingslayer.
Well, there's an almost point blank Weaver's Wall as the Seismic shove just going to push him over the rocks. And he does get a taunt. Faker able to flash his way out, but Polu turns up and just takes out the Gargoyle.
For Bro. And remember, the Cole cashed in. It's a second kill for Hype. He picked up. He has the lead now as well, and Keria's in no man's land.
Yeah, well, he's looking for an angle. Depth charge onto Gumayusi. His Ona now having to get out of this bullet time. He goes back in because the hook lands once again, and Polu just turns and takes down Ona. Now Gumayusi having to deal with Morgan, but the Ghoulie Wall traps him in. He has a dash and a flash. He's able to get himself out. The Morgan says, no, you are going down. The Ghoulies are gonna get him.
Guma got ghoulied.
Oh no, there's no worse way to go.
Owner lost his flash, you know, trying to get out there, then decided to Heartbreaker back in because he's like, well, this is, I'm definitely going to die, but maybe I can get a kill. Doesn't get it, so now he's down. Flash, now he's down. Ult.
Playing some Yard, because this guy, he made his career. We were talking about his time on Hanwha Life Esports, where they somehow made it to the top 8 at Worlds after being a 7th place team or something like that in the LCK. Of course, DRX then did it better, but this was the year before. But he was playing Camille, going like 0-3. He's 1-0-1 in this game, but going like 0-3 and then still winning the game. Done.
I mean, they're going to get this turret here, and the Herald may not even necessarily need this charge for it, but they will use it just the same. I think they get a second, whichever way you slice it, as Doran's looking for a flank.
Oh, this just in, by the way. If the Bros do win this, we will actually have a call set up with Dagon as a hook. Going to connect it. There's the double knock up, the double shove as well, and Oda cannot do anything at all. Look at the position here from Polu as he's not even going down on these front lines as Morgan gets into the thick of things. Faker is going to get taken out. Another shove is going to connect as the health bars are low, but the Bros don't care. Doran able to get out of there with Gumayusi, but the rest of them are on the floor, and it's only President Polu.
But over the wall, Hype's able to follow up so brilliantly on this setup here for Humbug. Faker gets isolated, and it's just an easy cleanup, and Closer can follow up from so far away, and he says that's another dead cow. Closer's having, I mean, I'll say it one more time. I swear it's the last time. Risky for Guma to dash through to try to punish. Humbug going in, though.
Yeah, speaking of dashing through, Doran is going to be the one engaged on another seismic shove, going to connect this time. Keria going to deliver a Gargoyle to this fight. No knockups to come in, though, and the bullet time doing a lot of work. Keria going to have to flash away. Humbug going to get knocked up, though. Now it could be the turnaround as Humbug going to get taken down. Gumayusi getting that kill is actually so huge as well, but he's now trapped in the Ghoulie Wall. And Ona looking for an opportunity. Seismic shove going to get heartbreaked. And bro, they do lose their jungler.
ult on Misfortune, there's not a whole lot of damage here.
I mean, you don't have to go for this fight. Absolutely.
Just back away, bro. There is absolutely no reason to toss this in.
And that is going to be, in fact, bounty gold. Oh, back to come in from Faker. He's got teleport available. There's the flash pole as Polu now looking to lock down Owner. Hype moving on over, though. He's got a great position as Gumayushi with the culling, but they just take down the Viego, and Guma is below half health. Hype flashes for it. Guma's able to get out, but he's not doing any damage, and I say it, and it's a lie. It's Morgan that takes him down, and now Doran and Faker against the world, and the world, ladies and gentlemen, is Bro!
And they're just going to walk down mid and end it. Who needs an Infernal Soul? Closer says, get off that Dragon Humbug. I don't need it.
Well, he's not able to wall Doran in, but I don't think this Scion is going to be able to stop. Never mind. That Scion can stop him. He just flashes on top of him.
That's actually kind of significant.
And he dies.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to be able to defend even so, but that's a lot of damage gone. And
yeah, I don't think they win here. Yeah, I don't think they win here.
It's
the most important thing here for Bro, as Closer is just going to get picked off and destroyed. That is called a Fnatic Rush, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen this one before. And T1 are able to take down a very pivotal part of the Bros, so no Baron to be taken here. Have full information, do the Bros. As there's the hook, bullet time going to come on through. It does so much damage, but now Carrier finds the backline. It's another headbutt onto Hype as they just take out the bottom lane. T1, they're really good at setting up for Barons. That has not changed, and they are going to be able to take this purple worm off the map.
I mean, T1 just straight up hide on Bush. Kill Closer, go to Baron, and Bro, do not track Carrier. I'll just set up this cone, because if Carrier shuts you down and dumps you into 5 T1 players, you're not going to have a good time. T1 now completely in control of the map here. There's so much standing gold you mentioned, plus bounties here.
Yeah,
and the gold lead is going to wash away.
But 3,000 gold at 33 minutes into the game means basically nothing. You can see the Bro hump, which was the gold graph, is going to take a little bit of a turn south here for T1, who continue to take down these turrets. 3,000 gold on the Red Bull Baron power play.
Now, Bro do have really good wave clear, and they have Infernal Soul, and they have Otacon Infernal Soul. So, you know, this is not going to be T1 just getting Baron and then getting a freebie win in terms of getting all these standing gold on the map. They got some of it.
Elder in 3 minutes.
Yeah, they got some of it. Elders in 3. The question is who can control vision before that Elder spawns. That's how these fights are going to explode T1, but they need to be so careful. Like, right now, pushing up this far when you don't know where anyone is scary!
Well, the flash out from the headbutt pole as the train comes through. It's blocked by Polo, as this time Hype's position is pretty good. Knock up onto a clone, though, and now the re-engage for the Bros. Seismic shove goes wide, but Doran's health bar is getting destroyed. And now Morgan looking to put up a ghoulie wall to stop T1's advance. Closer finds another seismic shove. Here, the knock-up Cyclone onto 3. Faker goes golden, but that's another follow-up on the CC. Doran staying alive, but it's the Viego starting to get some resets, and Faker looks for some knockups. The bullet time is gorgeous from Hype, and the Bros, I think, have done it. Man, Hype was so patient, held it for the pristine moment, and it's only the GOAT left alive, and I think the only pleasure he'll have is watching his Nexus explode.
Yeah, the GOAT may bleed, but I don't think he can stop this push. Hype coming in, level 18, 4 items on the Misfortune. A late ultimate, but the one he was looking for, and T1 will finally fall in a grueling 3-game series.
First it was BNK, now it is the Bros that have taken down T1. Nexus turrets falling, nothing Faker can do to stop the eventuality of the Bro win.
I kind of feel like when we started in this draft, Dplus gave over so many prio tools, and the lanes looked incredibly strong when you have the Nefiri and the Ahri, but when we finished up here, especially the Nautilus pick doesn't fill me with joy. Had enough of this.
Yep.
Troll Ward on the Tri-Brush.
Zeus has his flash up and available, but I think he's going to have to use it. Equalizer goes down. Lucid's already used the ulti here, and Zeus in so much trouble. There's a heroic charge. He finds the wall, and just one little tap, and Shiu's able to lock down that kill. Public execution still up and available, but Zeka's going to come down and just shove this wave.
Lucid here in Dplus.
Yeah, really expertly done. So that's going to put them in about the same advantage as they were behind earlier on. But Peanut, as a response, is able to take this Dragon. So the Mountain Drake goes over to HLE. That is going to be yet another one. As now Viper could be in trouble, but the W does miss. True Shot Barrage connects onto Viper.
He would have died if that W hit.
Yeah, some good damage. Crash down to layer some CC onto Delight. Mystic Shock lands, and there is the kill for Lucid. This guy is everywhere this game. Viper's back there as well.
Yeah, this is really uncomfortable. Lucid still here.
Oh no, the heroic charge. Not going to be able to get a stun, but Lucid
Red buff.
just needs to land one Q, and instead he just autos him to death. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, things are looking dire as well, but Showmaker's going to die in mid. So that's kill going over to Peanut.
There's the TP straight to the mid lane, and the fight will ensue.
Yep, there's the flash to get the heroic charge. Great knock up as well as Peanut goes untargetable. Steadfast presence, the Magnet Storm, everything thrown at this doggo, and he will be taken out. Now DK looking to deny the Void Mites as they want to grab 3 of these grubs.
Yeah, they will be able to do so. And this is big. And Showmaker TP'd to mid. Zeka actually left. And he does not have teleport, actually. Dragon. Shiu doesn't have teleport either.
All right, Zeus going to get discovered here. Lucid now able to move on forward. I don't think Zeus is going to get stunned, but he may get killed, which I think is worse. And there it is, Shiu picking up that kill. Lucid playing towards this Ambessa. She is going to be so scary later and later into this game. It's now moving to a 500 gold lead.
Rumble is now out of action for a little while, and Shiu is going to be faster to this objective.
Oh dear, there's the Flash Magnet Storm as Viper's going to have to flash. Chains of Corruption in response though as the Keeper's Verdict not going to find its mark. And now Delight gets his fangs into this rel. She's going to have to dash away as Lucid in so much trouble, but is at least able to get out.
Yeah, they ended up getting the engage on the Viper, but he has flash and the follow-up was much faster.
Oh, is it dive-in time?
It's going to be a turret time at least, and it also should lead to a second Dragon here for Hanwha Life.
Yeah.
Bit of a overextension there, bit of an overcommitment.
So going to be what's on offer here today.
The lack of teleports for the Soul Laners, the second Jess gets his back now, is hurting a little bit as Ambessa's just deleting minions going mid now. They're going to fight for this Herald.
Yeah, they don't want to give this up as there's a teleport in from Shiu looking for his angle. Lucid going to be able to lock down the Rift Herald, but now Shiu going to try and hold them in here. Hook going to go wide, but it looks like DK just happy to take their prize and leave. True Shot Barrage would have been 6 points in Australia as Shiu does take some daggers from the dog, but it will just get out of the way of the barbecue and everything will be okay.
Guarantee it. Dplus getting a ton out of this objective win all over the map.
Yeah, Beryl actually is going to drive it on over as now Lucid looking for an angle, Hex flashing away. But never mind.
And I mean, Zeka does push top in.
When to commit for fights and making sure that they have sort of unfair advantages when they do so, feeling the pressure from DK. We know that the gold lead is not really anything to worry about, but a lot of these item spikes that are starting to come in for DK have been scary, as now Lucid will be able to get his smite down on this Gromp. Peanut taking a bit of damage. It's Delight here over, and there's a True Shot Barrage actually getting some value. There's the Public Execution missing though. That could be a big deal as now Zeus gets in amongst it. That is a lot of damage potential as he throws down the ulti. Delight gonna be the first to go down as Zeus has to flash to get out of the way. Chains of Corruption hold him in place for a little while, and DK, your health bars are getting low as in goes Peanut, and Lucid, he's in trouble, picks up his buckler, gets the shield, but Zeus has already taken down the Rel. The rest of DK trying to chase after Peanut, but he is looking to try and get out of there.
Flash.
The doggos block the Mystic shots, and aiming cannot catch up and take him down.
Doesn't have TP to flank either.
There's so much on the table here as well, because Ruinous Archon could be really important, especially for HLE, who have 2 of these dragons already locked down.
Showmaker just can't get in.
Yeah, has been started up.
He's going to back and TP. It's so slow, though.
Yep, and you can see Shiu, he's already made it in. Zeka on a ward, it will be clearing that one out as there is the Keeper's Verdict. Gets rid of the Nautilus, and that's the Poppy that locks down the Cloud Drake, sorry. Zeus, Public Execution going to be used on top of him. The Equalizer is avoided entirely. Delight walking his way back in as HLE is standing their ground. Now Peanut looking for an opportunity, but the flash out from Shiu keeps him healthy. A 1-for-1 trade, but DK deny the Dragon.
Rift, he's running real fast.
Oh yeah. As Showmaker is certainly very scary. Keeper's Verdict gets rid of the Nautilus, but Chains of Corruption are going to hold Lucid in place.
I don't know if they'll be able to Otacon off this, but they can certainly start it and force a reaction. Zeus is coming down. He didn't have TP, but he's going to walk his way over. I don't think they can actually do this.
Yeah, I think they were tricking just a little bit, as Lucid is going to be able to sweep out that ward. As now Shiu on a flank angle. It's a beautiful one as well, as Beryl wanting any sort of Magna Storm he can find. Banana Brush certainly working out, but out goes Peanut, and the public execution as they dive on top of Zeka, and he's eliminated in an instant. The Dragon just forgotten here, as now Zeus is in trouble. Showmaker chases him down, and he may get a Viper for his troubles as well. He really wants to get on top of him. There's the flash forward. The flash in answer from Viper is there, and now DK can just get themselves their prize. Delight looking for Showmaker as the hail of arrows is going to help take him down. True Shot Barrage, almost a 2-for-1 special there for aiming.
Right out of the fight, and that's a big problem. And then the follow-up engage is beautiful from Shiu, and Barrel ended up winning this one in a big way. Showmaker trading his flash for Viper's flash. Gosh, and his Canyon fell off a little bit. He's been always in top 3, of course, for a majority of that time as Zeka gets the charm.
That charm is going to connect. Very nicely done as Showmaker throws down the Empress Divide just to get himself out of here, but Peanut will always follow. Showmaker goes golden, avoids the Orb of Deception, but he's still going to be deceived. Peanut goes untargetable, so they do get that off cooldown as Shiu still biding his time, waiting for his opportunity. And Lucid gonna get knocked up. They want to burst down this Baron as the Equalizer not exactly doing as much as it could. Delight goes in, but aiming goes out. And Zeus' time is just being eaten as Peanut will be able to execute Beryl. Zeka's in trouble though as Shiu chases him down. This is an absolute disaster across the rift as the True Shot Barrage tries to snipe Zeka, and Peanut is looking to exit. The Baron is now forgotten. The Empress Divide does nothing.
No, it was not the ideal setup for Lucid's Keeper's verdict. It pushed Delight away, and then the fight was split in 2. And aiming, at this point in time, on 3 items, is happy to go to Baron. They have so much wave clear. They have so much power in this comp.
Aiming is heading towards some more Gold King territory, Wolf.
Yeah, he's getting large again.
He really is. Currently 40 CS in advantage, or about that, and he's also 5-0 and 2. The Ezreal hasn't been the main character at all, but I swear he's probably got the most gold. As now Zeus could be in trouble. Empress Divide going to pull him back, and even though the public execution doesn't go down, the public didn't need to watch that, as there's another beautiful Magnet Storm being utilized by Beryl. Aiming, standing his ground, will take down Delight here, as now Zeka just slammed into the wall and will be taken out. Oh, never mind, able to get over the wall, but still aiming, despite being hit by the Q, is still going to fall as Beryl just chasing Peanut out of there, and it just feels like this is done and dusted. Peanut piled in on by all of Dplus, and he's now just looking to get away, and Showmaker is not going to allow that. He's in fact flashing over piercing arrows because he may as well. Base going to get broken open. Shiu's doing the same thing on the top side, as Showmaker's also just going to use his Zhonya's to avoid that one. How many more options does he have to get out of the way of piercing arrows? That's the real question. The answer is it does not matter, because the Nexus will go boom, and Dplus 1-0 in the series. It doesn't matter. They still have to win by then.
They don't have enough hard prio in their lanes to set up the Nidalee, and the Sejuani has 2 great setup jungler, or just great setup soul laners to proc permafrost.
Yeah, right, because HLE, they just need to answer everything the DK asks, right?
Yeah.
And they're pretty good. You know, they know a lot of the questions.
They do. Zeka gets the knock up here. It's going to push Showmaker out, play around here.
Lucid looking to now take down the rest of these grubs. Just pounces over the wall. The Unbound Soul is going to pull Zeka back, and it's Beryl that's actually out of position now. Does use the ult. Forced onto Zeka, and he still gets picked, even though the ult came through and the door was up. It doesn't matter. The flash not going to save him, and aiming not going to do anything here either. That's Peanut now able to take the remaining 2 grubs. Well, just deny the feat of strength. Get yourself the experience by taking down one of the grubs. And don't risk it any further, because first blood going to HLE,
not enough to get the kill there, as Lucid will be able to take this dragon on the other side, because Peanut showed top side, he was on the other side of the map, and that's a big win here for Dplus. Bouncing back.
Yep, that has to happen, right? They have to make sure that they get a monopoly on these dragons, and hopefully it's a good soul as well. No Ocean this time around, but there is still the chance that a Chemtech could come on through. Oh, cancels his own back. Does have his Dominus back up again, though, as he's going to throw it down, but this time the Glacial Prison will connect, and Peanut is able to take the kill.
The problem with playing the Renekton Nidalee lane and drafting the blind Renekton is that
yeah, the Jax Sejuani lane is actually looking better. It's okay. Zea's gonna have to flash out of the way of Lucid here. Smite comes down. I don't think he's out of the woods, ladies and gentlemen. Spear is going to miss, and Lucid is still pouncing forward. Another leap strike, and Zeus is out of there as Peanut says, "Get out of here, Lucid." Lucid's gonna now turn his attention to the Sejuani as the spear. Oh my goodness, that gave me a little bit of a heart attack.
Initially really good for Hanwha Life Esports and Peanut there on the top side with that successful gank. It actually ends up backfiring kind of here with what Dplus walk away with, as they will end up now taking 4 grubs. I don't see a contest coming through, although Delight has something to say about it.
Yeah, no smite, 30 health, what? And Delight just body slams it. So that is going to be the feat of strength denied. And 2 grubs picked up by HLE. He does have Blade of the Ruin King done. Of course, we know the spike that item is. And now Peanut just walks over and says, "Oh, this is what you were doing, Lucid. Let me just come over and steal that from you."
There's that Pantheon TP.
Yeah. Teleport going to bring him in. There's the Glacial Prison. And Lucid not going to be able to do anything. The rest of HLE, they can just back away. It's highway robbery. And it's a Chemtech Soul.
Lucid says it's a 50-50, and Peanut says, "You're not coming in smite range."
Yeah, it just takes the top lane out of turret.
Thank you for the free money. And this is not really showcasing of his skill on the champion's hold-up. Delight is a bit deep.
Yeah, he is going to get the cast out. And here comes the Pantheon. Spear going to connect there as well as he looks to ult his way out, and it's not going to work.
Delight
now wanting to find Delight as he's on the wrong side of the map. Teleport to come through from Shiu as he heads toward that top lane. But with the concussive blows stacked up, looks like Aiming is going to be collecting himself a kill here. Honeyfruit almost actually consumed as the Rift Herald is going to be the consolation prize, or at least attempted consolation prize.
We'll scout this out. He is Nidalee after all, but
you can see Peanut putting his back to it, and Lucid unable to get the spear because, of course, big old Bristle is there in the way.
If it looks like a really opportunistic one for them, otherwise we'll be happy to just sit Jax in the side lane and keep doing this.
Yeah, see Chiu actually getting outplayed a bit in that particular trade, but he's got a kitty cat on its way up. Has another counter-strike here as there's the Dominus. Spear going to miss, but Lucid, he can just follow Leap Strike to get him over to Peanut, who's just a brick wall. Oh, no, Peanut! He just betrayed him!
Rough times for the top lane here in Hanwha Life. That's a bit of a dent.
They're now looking to escape. The Unbreakable does come on through, and Beryl is able to escape. Even has a Primal Surge there from his Nidalee to help him out. And Showmaker going to finish off this outer turret towards the bottom side of the map. Outer on top side as well in a bit of trouble.
They're going to try to push the bottom turret.
If this is a steal, by the way, it's feats of strength that come in at the same time. Here it comes. Peanut comes in! That's not going to be the steal, though. As now Lucid just trying to get out of there. Beryl stands beside his teammates, but in goes Zeus, immediately stunned. That's actually huge. And they all get out of the counter-strike. Never mind, he flashes in! There's a brilliant ultimate from Beryl, but I don't know whether it's going to be enough. They trade 1-for-1 so far, but now the chain CC onto Showmaker. The answer onto Delight here is Aiming is free hitting. Shiu trying to stay alive as Zeka in a little bit of trouble. Aiming really wants to do it, and now Lucid piling it on top. Zeka, he unbound the soul, and now Aiming dealing with the both of them. Oh man, this 3-for-3 so far. Could be more, but instead, they are just going to back away. It looks like the blue buff is going to go on over here. It's a spear! Oh my goodness, Zeka.
Zeka, you're crazy!
Yeah, he picked it up!
Fight. It's Hanwha Life getting a lot of map control out of it as Lucid's now in danger.
Yeah, Arctic Assault is fantastic, but Showmaker's dived on top of Zeka, finding an angle. That's actually going to distract them from Lucid. Great sidestep, but I think Showmaker is still dead, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, and oh, never mind the unbound soul, so it's a trade. 1-for-1 of mid laners, and now Zeus is on the wrong side of the fight. This game has gone weird. It's gone weird really fast. Where's my chess game and stuff from the last one?
I don't think we're playing chess anymore. Played support, even though we knew it could be played mid. We were kind of asking, should it be played mid?
Yeah, but also, like, can you counter Zeka's Yone with anything? Strength going over, but there is nothing they can do about this. That is just going to be the Drake secured and some cool shoes put together. Beryl going to eat a lot of damage.
Beryl's wall up here early too.
Yeah, Glacial Prison comes down. There's the ulti to follow as Peanut needs to get out of there. Another party cast going to fly on through, disrupts DK, but Zeus still has to flash out of there. And HLE, they don't need to go for more. They've got the Drake, they've got what they needed. Feats of strength are now done. You can just back off.
This game of League of Legends doesn't fit the archetypes in my brain.
No, right?
I'm
feeling
not sure
the same
what's
way.
happening. It feels like this is one of those games, you know, we have the show match at the beginning of the season where like people are playing off-roll and stuff and the game just gets to a weird state. A level and a half, technically speaking, but you can really start to feel the Soul Lanes losing their power here, which puts a lot of the eggs in that Lily basket that we talked about earlier. You know, she has so much damage, so much power, but
oh dear,
needs the setup, needs those Soul Laners to make it happen. As HLE are just going to start this up and everyone is so far away.
And DK actually have no idea.
They just have to give this. I mean, if they knew, they'd have to give, but they don't know, and they're about to find out.
Yep. And that's going to be a whole bunch of flowers. Look at the gardening.
Look at Zekka's
HLE. Just take the Dragon Shield.
I love that.
Okay, Delight. He's going to send Showmaker over. Great knock up with the Q onto the Pantheon, who's just going to get picked off.
Viper with the snipe at the end.
Oh, that's really going to open things up here for DK, and I think now the consideration is, do we just try and take a Constellation Dragon while they're taking down this Baron, or do we look to try and contest? Contesting is so difficult. Teleports up for Showmaker, though. Maybe they can buy 40 seconds, but I don't even think so. She is now diving forward. Speaking of diving forward, though, Zekka goes in, goes out, Lucid goes golden, and now Beryl with the door up, but they dive on top of aiming, and look at Viper huffing mad. Double kill comes out for Zeus at the same, for Zekka at the same time, never mind, as Shiu is just cut down where he stands.
Minutes long, but it certainly was, and HLE are just with the clean ace looking to end. Showmaker does have ult, he has respawn, he's not even level 16 yet, and he is going to be the one man to try to stop it all, to try to buy time for aiming for Shiu. I don't think alone he could do it, as he goes in alone
it's
and
the wave killer attempt, and it doesn't actually work. The minions, may not
I don't
even
think
go
they
down.
care.
Yeah, they're not going to go down. The cannon will survive, and Beryl, he will not. As Nexus turrets on the floor, and HLE not even bothering.
This feels like a draft canyon to me. Draft kingdom, as you guys used to often say.
Yeah, it's feeling pretty good. But I don't know. Finally able to sink his fangs in a little bit as the kiting continues, but you see Shiu just like really navigating this lane well on the side.
And Zeus is like kind of just, I think he's hoping he's going to get trades when the commitment comes in. As long as
that's an unstoppable onslaught, and that's just a solo kill for a Scion. So Wolf, what were you saying about what you were going to do when the solo kill happens on this?
We're going to have to review our expectations about what these drafts mean.
Again, don't you worry. And I'm going to be honest, I was a little bit worried. Viper and Delight moving in for the 2v2. That's a flash for the engage. Aiming is down extraordinarily low, already on mana, and just gets flung back into some rocks, trips over and dies.
Well, that's a big win, a point on the board here for Hanwha Life.
And they're also
well invested.
They're playing both sides of the map, which is kind of crazy. Peanut is on the Dragon right now. Lucid gonna move in and look to try and push him out. There's the Cyclone, but Showmaker's moving down. Zeus is here. Yeah, he's here as well, and oh my god, Peanut almost just dead. But Lucid is too, manages to get the Dragon just before he dies, and now Zeus in a 1v1, and there was no Scion there. He's moving towards top lane, as now Beryl just wanders up and says, no, please don't kill my mid laner, and they are not going to listen. He gets the shield, bullet time comes through, takes down the Gnar, but it won't save the victor, and now Delight looking for even more. He's got the unbreakable will, and the seismic shove will get dodged. Beryl needs to dodge a few of these. Oh, nicely done. Wow, downloaded Viper and where he was going to throw those shots. Flash.
I mean, Lucid also barely gets the Dragon.
All right, Beryl is just going to look to turn something here as Viper going to get slowed down by the Solar Flare. Oh, Delight's will is relatively breakable as there's the Heartbreaker, and Lucid not going to quite find the Pulverize. So Beryl sidesteps at least 4, but Peanut wanting a few extras as well. As the Gnar does get the inside track on the river, but Shiu, he can call the train.
Zekka also can call the wall, but he's a bit
Oh my god, Viper!
The snipe!
That is so unfair, and now Peanut can actually steal away this last one. Lucid doesn't have Smite anymore, and now the train just crashes. It's a disaster for Dplus. The bullet time comes through, but the unbreakable will is there. Zeus gets that double hop, and they do manage to secure all the... Never mind, actually it's Chaos Storm that takes it down. Beryl's dead as well, as now DK just wanting to back away from the area. And Lucid not going to be allowed to do that. Shiu has a decent health bar, sidesteps the seismic shove. And I think he will be at least okay for the moment, but as he will get the Q that he was looking for. Now Peanut looking to try and challenge for this Brambleback. It's okay. He's not going to be able to steal away the red, but the Solar Flare connects onto Delight. He's got the unbreakable will. He presses it a little bit late as now Showmaker from over the wall does throw down the gravity well. And in fact, Showmaker can't get in there. He doesn't need to though. Aiming's there. He's able to take down Peanut. Over the wall goes Lucid, and he does manage to get the kill onto the cow, but he's taken down immediately. That's a bit of a gap close from Zeka, but still, Showmaker taking so much damage.
He just walks it off. He doesn't even have to flash because Viper's got to reload and he's got to get the hell out of there. Aiming!
Yeah, has to flash.
On this turret, they're winning both in this top lane solo in the 1v1, but are also getting the only spawned objective on the map, and HLE, they don't have to worry about any cross maps. No. Scientists are still trying to figure that one out.
Yeah. What did he mean by this?
Yeah.
Difficult one to ascertain.
He just wants to let him know he can win fights without his flash. And speaking of fights, we got one on our hands here. The spawn of the Herald is complete.
Yep. Zayas trying to get out of this. Solarflare going to slow him down, but it looks like the Rift Herald will be the target here for DK. Peanut a little bit distracted by Beryl, so Lucid will be able to secure this. And Shiu off to the side. There's a Weaver's Wall. But that is not going to really net them too much, apart from maybe a Scion, as Viper not going to get knocked up, but they do a lot of damage here to this theoretical tank on Dplus' side.
Dplus just need to evacuate here in mid at the moment, and finally they will get out this exchange and take the turret, which is not a surprise.
Arakan also up and available towards the bottom side, and HLE with a lot of control now that the entire outer ring of turrets has been eradicated. Wanting to set up for some sort of attempted flank. This Dragon is definitely going to HLE.
This is one of those attendance is mandatory, like Dplus have to be there.
So now he can actually duel this Scion and do maybe some damage. It's okay, that's a pole flashes. The immediate thumbs up. There's a Cyclone as well as aiming. He's got a Bloodthirst, so he just needs to keep auto-attacking, and Peanut is going to get taken down. Oh, that was definitely a premature thumbs up, Derlight, unfortunately, as now it's his turn to go down. Some more resets coming through for Lucid as now he's looking to taxi his way over. The Beryl did die in the exchange.
I mean, Dplus are feeling way better about the game state after this one.
I mean, it's still the turret going down, though.
The turret does go down, but hold up here, that cleaver.
Oh, no, this time Shiu is not going to be able to find it, but aiming is going to turn up.
Aiming has ult, too.
Zayas, he's got Mega. Shiu, he's scary. He flashes, and the flash immediate response. As double up going to connect, Boulder will be there as well, and now Lucid, like you say, is going to turn up as well. It takes a lot to try and take this guy down, but take him down they will. And Zeka decides, yes, perhaps I will get off the wall.
It's a default win, but it's exactly where Dplus want to be. Zeka sees it, but too late.
Lucid's going to stun him, and Zeka's flashing out of the way. Is it going to be enough, though? That's the question. The flash forward from Lucid to confirm the kill. And Showmaker is finally on the board.
What is there? Baron, go! And they're gonna maybe get away with this because the rest of Dplus are unaware and so far away. It's a Baron sneak here right after spawn. Okay, we do see some members of Dplus coming up here to check. Shiu's here.
Yep, teleport at the ready here for Showmaker as well. I mean, Shiu can just drive the train in. And instead, the conductor walks over and he says, no, get out of here. That's a good idea. Rock's now on cooldown for a few moments, though. As Deadly Flourish is just going to go wide.
Zeka's ready for that wall.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
Through it goes. And so DK, Lucid can possibly get in there, but he decides not to. They give Soul Point away, and Dplus couldn't find their window, but the curtain's still going to get cold. And that's the flick back onto the Scion. Shiu gonna have to flash his way out of there. And now Peanut looks for the Cyclone angle. Takes a lot of damage here as now Lucid looking for it. They get the Solar Flare. The bullet time isn't great though, and Viper just eliminates Beryl. DK kind of falling apart at the seams after losing the Dragon.
That was a really great set of plays from Hanwha. Incredibly patient by Zeka. Taking a while to take this one down though. Ooh, this is a risky situation for HLE.
It definitely is. There's a lot of damage on this Baron, as we can see.
Yeah, I don't think they could stop the Baron and get the Otacon.
Oh, okay. It's not really coming down very fast. Never mind. So, aiming is now going to walk his way in. If they get a pick...
Control for a potential Baron take of their own. Beryl?
Yeah, he's going to be the target. Headbutt Pulse will connect. He does get the Eclipse down, but it's not enough damage mitigation to get him out of dodge. The Solar Flare also goes entirely wide. And with that pick, HLE might just be able to back off, start off this Baron once again, and bait DK. Steal this away, that's the question.
They'll make her a lot of damage.
Yep, Zayas gets over. Lucid's in the mist. But they just get off the Baron. She was just thrown around like a ragdoll. He'll be taken down into zombie mode. Some withdrawals are starting to come in as now Zeus could be in trouble. Aiming needs to find it. There's the cleanse flash though as he withdraws Zeus. Now Peanut trying to fight him. The Bloodthirster is so good for aiming, and Showmaker goes golden to buy time for Beryl to turn up the Death Ray to send Viper home. No Baron for HLE, and DK is still fighting.
Away from this Wukong, getting the lifesteal just enough. Now HLE are back on the Baron.
Yep, and they are trying to burst it down this time around. Delight might just get destroyed, but the train has headed into the pit now. Can Lucy get it? The answer's no. Peanut locks down the Baron. Aiming now 1 versus 3 again, but I don't like his odds this time around. The Nara is massive as well from Zeus, and into the backline goes Peanut. He finds Showmaker. He's pretty big, but unfortunately, he's not going to be able to take out HLE. This time, it's an ace, and this time, HLE.
Composition, and Peanut didn't even use his ult, and it's an easy cleanup here for Hanwha Life. Now, 6,000 gold ahead, and that lead is just going to get bigger. I think this mid inhibitor is not going to be alive for much longer. Zeka's also getting this top side and the wave prepped. They don't commit further into the base, but they are in such...
has been working so well as Beryl is going to try and stop Delight. Oh my god, the bullet time is massive! They get themselves the Ocean Soul though, and now Showmaker's getting closed in on. There's a beautiful scoop once again onto aiming. 1-2, and the misfortune goes down. Beryl has nothing to offer. Showmaker is just walking away because he knows there's nothing he can do.
This comp is so good front to back, and I think this may be the beginning of the end of this game. Hanwha Life Esports, a hard-fought series. Showmaker, the only one who could try to clear. He doesn't have ult. And he's going for the champ, stop the wave, and he's down.
Oh my god, that was so much damage. The flick once again from Zeka is gorgeous. The Talia play today, just in general, has been phenomenal. First closer, and then Zeka here in this game.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.